5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
The Galactic Dads Podcast, a podcast by geeky dads, talking about all things geek, dad life,
I am the father.
and beyond.
Language.
And welcome to the Galactic Dads Erection special for this November 2024. Welcome to the show, everybody. I think we're going to do it, by the way. We're just gonna go ahead and start off by upsetting everyone.
Yep.
And we're going to talk politics.
Yep. Episode 108 is the episode that gets us on a watch list.
That's right.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, which
Been waiting
list
for years.
is what I'm excited to find out real quick.
It's probably going to be both, if I'm honest with you. Like,
All right.
I feel like we're both fairly neutral parties. We're the party of common sense. Which,
Well, you can't say that anymore
that's true.
because
Crap,
every
we
party's
just got
the right
canceled
party.
again.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm not going to tell anybody who to vote for. That's
Nope.
not what this show's about.
Nope.
Actually, if you don't know already, then Donald Trump and Kamala Harris would very much like to speak with you as soon as possible.
Yes, they would. I would very much like to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, I mean, they're more aggressive than somebody trying to get in contact with you about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah, that's the truth. Well, so Trump definitely is. Like, that dude is like all over the place. Like, he's serving up fries at McDonald's and talking shit the whole time. Which, I gotta be honest, like, if I was gonna run for president,
That's pretty hood.
that's
Like,
some stuff that I would do. I'd be like, yo, what's up? I'm gonna go work in this Wendy's for a couple days. Like, just to be a man of the people, I guess. I heard Kamala took a few days off. Like, she's just chilling.
Yeah, you know what? If I was one of them, I probably would too, just because, holy crap, they have been relentless.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and you think about it, like, they've got, I mean, really, like, they got a 24/7 job for the, like, 3 days leading up to the election.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be up all night arguing with each other because neither one of them is going to concede.
So here's the thing that I think we should focus this particular episode on. Let's talk about how crazy this actual election cycle has been.
Yes.
Because I think we've seen some things, I can't believe I'm going to say this, that we've never seen before.
Yes.
And
Every time we think we've hit critical mass, then we find out we didn't.
There's more. There's more.
Unbelievable.
And then let's talk about when we think this will end. Because Tuesday, November 5th is right around the corner. We're days away. But also, I don't think this election is going to be over until sometime next year. And I do mean year.
Yeah, I can see that.
So let's just jump in. What so far has been the craziest thing to you in this particular election cycle?
The craziest thing to me is just how aggressive the rhetoric has been on both sides.
Both sides.
Like, we're not talking about it, like, there has always been trash talk between the two parties, but like the trash talk has gotten to a level that is, you know, considering cancel culture was such a serious thing 2 years ago, like
true.
the stuff that they're saying about each other is just amazing how crazy it gets.
I think the part that's most surprising to me about that is I agree with you 100%. It's on both sides now.
Oh yeah.
We expect it from Don, right?
Oh yeah. If you don't, you haven't been paying attention.
But the fact that Kamala's just straight up like, yeah, he's a fascist. That was pretty crazy to me. Right. Only because, and it's not that, you know, I disagree or whatever. It's just that, wow, she's now down here in the mud too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she's not calling him nasty and, you know, dissing everybody while she goes on a rant at a rally, which he is very prone to do.
Yes.
But that she does get down there and say, yeah, he's a fascist, blew my mind. I was pretty shocked by that.
Right. It's stuff like that. It's the calling the Madison Square Garden thing a Nazi rally.
Yeah.
Can we please cool it on that until, you know, like the Jewish community would like to have a conversation. Like, can we please cool it on the Nazi stuff? Like, on both sides. I mean, everybody's calling everybody Nazis.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
Remember when Antifa was like really big on the political, you know, talking point stage?
Yeah.
And they were, of course, were leftist Nazis and all that. And now it's just like, I guess if you don't like somebody, call them a Nazi, and that will somehow make you right. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess in the 90s, everybody was calling everybody gay. So I guess Nazi is the new gay.
And this is going to sound terrible, but I miss that.
I kind of do too.
Calling something gay was so much fun. Like, because you were never talking about, hey man, your sexual orientation.
Yeah.
You were literally just like, that's gay. Like that.
Yeah. It was never, never an indictment on their sexual orientation. Like that wasn't even a thought in the process.
Yeah, no. But now, obviously, we don't condone saying it. We're not bringing it back.
Yep.
But that is one of those things.
Yep.
But yeah, let's talk about that rally real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about the rally.
That's pretty wild. We're gonna hold one in Madison Square Garden.
That seemed very much like a flex more than anything else.
Didn't it though?
Because it's New York. We all know what way New York's going to swing.
Oh, it bleeds blue so hard. Yeah.
New York City carries that entire state, no matter what anybody else believes. So to have a rally this close to the election in New York City is really nothing but a show off.
It is.
Honestly.
It's a big flex.
Yeah.
It is it's almost as big of a flex as, say, I don't know, giving your last speech on the very steps where somebody incited an insurrection. Like, that's pretty big too.
Yeah.
That's a very different flex.
That is a very different flex.
I was like, you are kidding me. These guys are incredible. I'm loving it.
It's amazing. But part of me would really like to be in either or both of the inner circles just to hear the conversations. I'm also afraid of that.
Yeah, probably.
You
I would
just
agree with
never
that.
know what you would hear. Like, and God forbid you figure out that some of the stuff that's being said is true.
Oh,
That's
my real fear.
Because right now, I mean, the beautiful thing about politics is you can rest comfortably that 99% of politicians are lying to you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Party line does not matter. Agenda doesn't matter. Voting record doesn't even matter. Voting record is handled by money and
Lobbyists.
Friendships and things like that. The vote is already decided before they even go to vote. So, yeah, it's interesting because you know that you're gonna get lied to. Mm-hmm. So if you actually knew the truth behind some of the stuff they were saying, it might be a little scary.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna, skirt into conspiracy theory or anything.
We
like
don't
that
have
here.
time for that.
But what you're saying is actually correct. Most of the time when senators and congressmen and stuff go to vote, it's been decided before they ever vote. That's very true.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's a lot of reasons for that. That's why lobbying is such a big business in the U.S. And how in the world the Supreme Court, they must have been getting their palms greased by lobbyists for this one, decided that it was fairly constitutional to have lobbying. It just blows my mind because it's never for the real interest of the American people.
I don't understand it. And one of the big parts that I don't understand is where does all this money come from?
That should be the real question.
That should be the first question.
But it's also weird. Thinking about how, the American people are apparently so hard hit by the economy right now. But since weed has been legalized in the areas it has been, it's boomed into a $33 billion a year industry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Where'd that money come from?
Yeah. Well, that money was always spent on weed. It was just spent on weed in back alleys and in random corners where you couldn't be seen. Now, the people that want to do it legally are doing it legally, and the government gets to take their piece.
There you go.
Which I respect that.
That's pretty gangster, too.
It reminds me a little bit of, so the NBA about 10 years ago, they got a new commissioner, and I could be wrong on the dates. Don't fact check me. Please don't fact check me. But anyway, they decided, okay, we're going to allow betting and gambling on our games.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to let you do it in the stadiums. And we're going to let you do this and that. But we're going to take a piece. And I mean, that's genius.
Well, it's smart for them because their salaries for the NBA are astronomical.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
I think the lowest paid member on any team, I think the lowest amount they can get is like $1.2 million.
Well, what cracks me up about the NBA especially is they have max contracts, right? Mm-hmm. Max contracts are great, and they have a salary cap. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's fine. That means this is how much each team is supposed to spend. But if, in football, they have a salary cap, and if you go over, you have to cut players.
Yeah.
Just how it goes. if you go over the salary cap of the NBA, you have to pay a luxury tax. And then you can spend as much money as you want.
And this is how we buy championships.
And this is how we buy championships. And this is how we buy elections and stuff like that.
Whoa. Hey, careful.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, watch list. My
Careful.
bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
We're not supposed to know that. Anyway. But yeah, so, right. So we were talking about the actual, before we divulged a little bit, we were talking about the rally at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Can we just, all right, I'm going to flat out say it. Can we stop looking at the Puerto Rico joke? It
Seriously.
is not, I'm not going to say it's not important or whatever, but it was very spot on for Tony Hinchcliffe's comedy.
Yes.
Okay, that is not any different than anything he does weekly
Yes.
for his Kill Tony podcast.
It was also not the most racist thing that he said.
It was not at all.
I mean, he had, before that joke, he had a joke about the Latino community that was at the rally.
Yes.
He kept saying, "Oh, we have open borders. They're letting anybody in. Hey, how's my proud Latino?" And then everybody started cheering. He's like, "See my point exactly."
They're in here.
So I think that was more racist than the Puerto Rico joke.
He had a watermelon joke.
He had the carving watermelon joke.
I mean, he had a lot of stuff in there. And by the way, I think it's also worth pointing out, it wasn't like his set went over extremely well at that rally.
No, he seemed a little out of place.
He did.
And I think, I don't know, but I have a feeling there was probably some deal made because Tony Hinchcliffe is Joe Rogan's boy.
Yes.
And maybe there was some kind of deal put in place. It's like, hey, I need an opener for our convention. I'll do your podcast if you help me out here.
Yeah.
Or
So
something.
that would make sense because I did want to say Donald Trump showed up on a lot of podcasts this week.
He did.
And it was quite impressive only because the amount of shows he was on and which shows he was on. He was on Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Right. And he was just talking like homies.
Yep.
He was on, who's the comic, the guy with the mustache? I happen to think he's very funny. Andrew, I keep thinking Santino, but not him.
Yeah, it wasn't Andrew Santino. I know who you're talking about, but I don't
Okay,
remember.
so he was on that podcast. He was on a bunch of like bro comedy podcasts, which makes sense because those are the voters that he's trying to sway at this point in the election, right? The guys like us, like bros.
Yeah.
Not that we're bros, but like our demographic is what he's after.
Our demographic is probably at this point the easiest to sway because I'm on record before saying that I was not planning on voting for a major party candidate this year. I very rarely vote major party just because they don't represent, neither party represents my values. They represent some, but not all. So Trump is doing what he needs to do to get in front of people like me. And people like you that could potentially see his side, I guess you could say.
Because we follow a lot of comedy podcasts.
Yes.
And that's what he showed up on this week.
Yeah.
And so guess who showed up in my feeds?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
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 And that's normally like, those normally are not political type shows. Well, we'll take Joe Rogan out of it because he's a whole different animal.
Yeah, Rogan is, and I've got more to go on that, but Rogan's not a political podcast, but he's not a political podcast.
Right. I'm like,
kind of in the middle.
Personally, I only listen to him if he has specific guests on.
Me too.
Otherwise, I just steer clear of that. Also because like Bad Friends and Kill Tony and all the other like hilarious Two Bears, One Cave.
Yeah,
like the comedy podcasts I listen to also take up quite a bit of time.
Yes, and they're hysterical.
They are hysterical.
Like Time Suck and stuff like that. Just, it takes a lot of time and effort, and you're going to be entertained in the way you want to be entertained. Whereas Rogan, it really depends on the guest, and it depends on what rabbit hole he wants to go down.
That's correct.
So, yeah, I'm with you. Did you listen to the one with Trump?
I did not.
You didn't? I did. So one thing I thought was interesting about it was you would almost expect Rogan and Trump to get along perfectly well and everything like that, and almost expect it to be a layup. And I really didn't feel like it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Rogan pushed him on a few things. Rogan tried to keep him on task, which is not...
I'm sure that's difficult.
No, and Rogan even called him out on that. at the beginning of the podcast said, you weave a story in like nobody else. Like you'll go on a tangent. And he called him out directly on it. And Trump didn't disagree with him.
Well, how could he?
I mean, he could if he wanted to. But
Yeah, but all evidence to the contrary would be on that one.
Right, exactly. I saw some of the feedback on X and some of the feedback on Instagram and stuff like that. But you've also got to remember the people that are giving feedback on that.
Yeah.
They're going to pick out what they want to pick out, and that's it.
That's as every person or every, even at this point, media outlet does.
Yeah.
You get that one soundbite,
Yeah.
and that's what you run with.
Right, exactly.
Which is why I enjoyed the debates this year. Very much the very first one was fantastic. And that leads me to what my favorite part of this entire election was this year.
Okay.
When they swapped candidates. I thought that was amazing and incredible. Because truthfully, even before the first debate, I was like, there's no way Biden wins again. There's just no way.
I would agree. His approval rating was so low.
His approval rating was pretty sour. I mean, I don't know if it was historically low, but it was low.
Oh, yeah, it was really low. And the problem is, like, he hasn't really been seen, and he wasn't really seen up to that point anyway.
Well, imagine this. Imagine he's not being seen because he's doing his job.
Right.
Remember, the 4 years before Biden, we were used to Trump. And what was the one thing that you could always count on Trump to do?
He'd go golfing on the weekends.
And go talk to the camera every day.
Yes.
Every day
Yes.
he was on the news with a fresh soundbite. Like, he can't help it. That's where he goes. Which is why after him, seeing somebody like Biden in office probably feels really silent.
Right. It was definitely, you've got a really good point there, because it was definitely really quiet. And everybody's like, what's he doing? What's he doing?
What's he doing?
But even going before Trump, Obama was on the mic a lot too.
He was.
He was also really good on the mic, though. I mean, he was a very polished speaker.
Oh, let me be clear.
Right, exactly.
I will be on the TV today. Okay. What about?
Every day moving forward.
I mean, but yeah. But then, there were things that Joe did, and I don't think just, objectively speaking, anybody talks about Joe's accomplishments.
Right.
Because there were some. I mean, he got the Medicare stuff passed through, which puts a lot of options for Medicare to pay for certain prescriptions out there, and really drastically reduce the price by allowing Medicare to negotiate that price with the drug companies, which I think is huge.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
helps a lot of people. They did try and pass, and this one floors me, and I know this is going to set a lot of people off, but there was a bipartisan immigration bill.
Yes.
And it got torpedoed by someone, whatever, for political, I think, leverage, I think is the argument that's being made. But I do think that was desperately needed, and it blowing up was not good.
No, there should have been, even if that bill got torpedoed, which I haven't read a whole lot about that bill that got dumped or anything like that, but I did hear that part of it was, kind of clearing the books and immediate amnesty for like an additional 2 million, like unvetted, just showing up. I don't know. I don't care.
Well, I think I particularly care, but I don't know.
Right. No. And yeah, you've got a good point. The way I put that probably isn't correct. What I meant by that is I don't care why the bill failed. I care more about why there wasn't a follow-up to it.
Yeah,
Just because one failed doesn't mean you can't introduce something else or go back to the drawing board.
They all went on break, didn't they?
Well, they go on break all the time.
I know. I can't figure out why those guys aren't working more. That's a legislative body that needs to just be in office all the time.
I have a friend he's in Congress at the state level.
Oh, really?
And,
who is it? Say his name. I'm kidding.
No, I'm not going to do that. But he's a friend of mine. He is not in my district, but I would vote for him. And the reason that I would is because I know the guy's an honest guy, because I've known him since we were 13.
Oh, well, his career is probably not long in politics.
Right. He's gonna run out at some point. But the point I'm making is, like, he only goes to the Capitol. I think he only lives in the Capitol for about 4 months, and then he comes home.
Oh, my God. It's like the reverse of school teachers.
Right. Right. It's, yeah, like, then he said, oh, yeah, this session is over. I'm like, how is this session over, dude? It's like April. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah, there's some stuff we need to work on there too. But, we're gonna solve anybody's problems today.
No.
But I will say, whichever side you're on, go vote.
Yeah, go vote. Absolutely. Let's get a real cross-section of what the country wants.
Yeah, because and there's no way around it. This particular election, the data will be historically analyzed.
Oh, forever.
I mean,
forever.
We're going to hear stats about this thing for like the next 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely go vote because it will give us a good, it'll give us a great indication of what the American populace actually wants.
Yes.
And also, definitely go check out, there's websites to help you with this. One is like vote.org that actually tell you what's on the ballot. I think before you go vote, you need to be informed.
See, I agree completely. And that's a big thing. And that was something I was going to mention too. No matter who you vote for, I don't care who you vote for. I hope you don't care who I vote for.
Yeah, I don't.
But no matter who you vote for, I encourage you to look deeper than what you're hearing on TV.
Well, I'm just talking not even about the presidential candidates, right?
But also the issues, the amendments and things like that.
The ballot's huge.
The ballot is very
like, I remember the first time I voted, I got in there and I thought I was really just going to be like this guy or that guy. And then I was like, wait, there's a whole lot of extra stuff on here I know nothing about.
Yes.
So definitely there's a lot of amendments.
And read about those too and really look and think, because the surface value that you're hearing on these commercials is what they want you to hear.
That's correct.
But you've got to read. There's always a cost to the benefit. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to look at.
And these amendments and things like that are written in a specific way to allow loopholes and stuff like that. So really, I mean, if you can, I'm not a lawyer, all right? But at some point I can be like, do I agree with this? Yes or no? Because it's not a maybe vote. You're either voting yes or no.
Yeah.
That's it. So take a little bit of time, maybe this weekend, and as much as you can, just at least read about it.
Yeah, and the good thing is, too, I don't know if this is every municipality or every area, but when Steph and I got our voter registration, like our reminder card or whatever, it's actually a folded, cardstock piece of paper, and when you open it, it shows a sample of the ballot itself.
No way.
So
that's pretty nice, because mine does not do that. Yeah,
because I didn't know what all the local amendments were. We've got the statewide things that I think you're familiar with. We've got the one about, about reproductive care. We've got the one about
sports betting.
Yeah. And then we've got the one for the casino. The casino down at the lake and stuff like that.
I only know about that one because I got a text message from the mayor of the Ozarks or whatever.
Right,
I was like, you got my number? Okay, bud.
Yeah. Come on, man. So what I find interesting about the casino one, not to drill down too deep, but this just goes to show you what I was just talking about a minute ago. On paper, I'm the kind of guy, I am all about developments that are going to boost the local economy.
Yeah, I'm for that.
You want to put a casino, like when they opened the casinos in St. Louis, I was like, that's brilliant because we need the tax revenue. We need the income from that. It's going to be a good thing. I think opening this casino in Lake of the Ozarks is a good thing. It's going to bring more money into the area. More money into the area typically means that there's going to be a benefit to the people that live there and the people that visit there, traditionally. But on the flip side of that coin, we're having a conversation with some people we know, and we know somebody who is on a council for a Native American casino organization that has been trying to open a casino at Lake of the Ozarks for the past 15 years. And they're very, very close. But if this bill gets passed, their opportunity, or if this amendment gets passed, they lose their opportunity to open the casino.
That is not surprising to me. Yeah, that does suck.
So, because even the Native American casinos do bring in some level of local revenue as well. It's not like they just take the land and, it's not like they just take the land and move us out, right? Sorry, that was probably a little. That joke was off the reservation, but you know what? Here we go.
I mean, yeah, that is interesting. Although I'm surprised, honestly, that the documentary on Netflix called Ozark.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they open a casino in the Lake of the Ozarks in that shell. That's
Yeah.
not a documentary. I know that, but
No, it's definitely not.
But yeah, not good things. Not good things. So don't let that sway your opinion.
Yeah, right.
But you do bring up a good point. There's always someone impacted.
Yeah, there's always a cost.
So read, understand.
Educate yourself a little bit. So I know, people's idea of fun is not sitting around on the weekend and reading about political issues. Trust me.
Yeah, it's not. But, maybe while you're at work today, just pull that up,
Right. Whatever you got to do to make an informed opinion or an informed judgment.
If you want to have a real good time at the office today, talk to your coworkers about it. Nothing like dividing up the office real fast, right?
The water cooler conversation gets aggressive real fast.
We're going to CC some folks on this here email, and we're going to get to talk to HR about it. It's going to be great.
Yes. You want to make it even better, spike some energy shots or something in that water cooler to get everybody all wound up.
Get your first dose of Four Loko at 6 a.m. and check it out.
There you go. Or Mad Dog.
Oh, yeah. TikTok, we discussed this yesterday.
Yeah.
TikTok is rediscovering some of our classics.
Yeah, Gen Z is picking up on the MD 2020, and maybe it'll grow them up a little bit. I guess I don't know.
You know what? This generation has not passed out in enough fields to really toughen themselves up. Actually, statistically, that's accurate. There's the party generation. I think that we grew up in. Like it was always a house party. You're always getting in some stranger's car. Go to like some field party somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This generation just doesn't do that.
No,
which is probably good.
Yeah, it's probably good, but it's also. I think you and I can agree. Like there's a point. I think everybody needs to do a little bit of limit pushing so that they understand what their limits are.
Yeah, I found out a lot of my limits in those early days.
I mean, yeah, it's not like, we're not, okay, listen, we are not telling everybody to go out and get arrested this weekend.
No, we are not.
Please don't do that.
And we're certainly not advocating for any, like, Diddy party type stuff either.
No.
Just go out and have an adventure. That's all I'm saying.
Have a little fun. Sometimes you end up in a cornfield, doing beer bongs with people you don't know. Sometimes you fall asleep in a baseball field.
And sometimes you wake up at Waffle House.
Yeah.
And you're just like, how long have I been here?
Yeah. And you wonder if you missed the fight or not.
Yeah.
It's okay. They do it hourly.
They do.
Okay.
They do. Have you seen, speaking of Waffle House and politics, I do watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Okay. Yeah.
Just because objectively, I think the show's funny when they cover stuff that isn't political, which this year is few and far between, but every once in a while they do. And they brought up how Waffle House takes orders. So when you give your order to the waitress at Waffle House, they write it down, but the way they set up the plate for the line cook tells the cook exactly what's going on the plate. So if a butter packet is at like, say, 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever, that tells them it's like eggs, sunny side up, over easy, whatever. If they put strawberry jam on the plate face down, it's like something to do with your wall. Like what you throw on the plate and how you do it tells the cook what they're making.
That's kind of awesome. It reminds me of you remember the Japanese places in the shopping malls? Back when malls were big.
Like Sarku?
Yeah. The place would hand you the free samples and stuff. They kind of did the same thing with toothpicks.
Yes.
Like the blades,
they put like the 2 toothpicks in there if you want like
double meat and extra sauce. And then if they put one in upside down, it's like no rice or whatever. But it's interesting. It's like their own little language.
Except for I think I would much rather just see somebody's handwritten note on the thing in front of me if I worked at Waffle House. Like I don't have time to figure the whole new lingo out.
Yeah, they're already half unhinged. You don't really want to give them any reason to throw a chair if you can avoid it.
Exactly. Yeah, and if my line cook's not smoking a cigarette and ashing into my toast, I don't want it. This isn't the authentic Waffle House experience I came in drunk for. Okay?
And look, the dude has to be 350.
Oh, or the extreme opposite and looking like he spends his money not on food, but yes.
Yeah, you've either got to be meth man or gigantic, one of the two. But like if there's just like some regular dude behind the counter,
It's not going to be good.
I'm not sure I'm in for that. Like,
I either want obesity or PCP. There is no way around it. Okay.
yeah, exactly. There needs to, So with RFK Jr., if he gets this "Make America Healthy Again" thing, like, don't take away our Waffle House cooks, man. We cannot deal with that.
Oh, you can't take away Waffle House. They are now an integrated part of the American Meteorological Association.
Oh yeah, no, they're also part of the DNA of the planet. Like, if we tried to close them, there would just be another one that would pop up. It's like Dollar General in
Absolutely.
rural areas.
Or-
Like, if you
or, yeah.
shut one down, there'll be another one in a couple weeks.
And now they're like evolving. There's the Dollar General Market,
Oh Jesus.
which I don't know what the difference there is. I think they have one more freezer of highly processed food. That's
Okay,
about
well,
it.
If you need your steakums or whatever, it's there. It's fine.
So anyway, all right. So let's wrap this one up. Unlike
Okay.
this election, this will end right
It
now.
will. It
right
will.
now.
So just for fun, what's your? Let's set the over under as.
Oh man, do you want to do predictions?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But first off, let's set the over under at January 1. Do you think we'll know who the president is before 2025?
It depends. It depends who wins initially.
Okay.
Because I think that if Kamala actually wins the popular vote in the Electoral College, no way. No way is
Okay.
it certified, because they have been doing some interesting stuff on the Republican Party side of lawsuits and things in places like Georgia and Arizona
I noticed that. Yeah.
to contest the actual outcome. So, and that's like documented. There's like Republican groups have been working very hard.
Which is really funny because I thought Arizona was a lockdown red state.
I thought so
What
too,
happened?
but it wasn't.
Huh.
And in the last election, the people in Maricopa County, a lot of them were very convinced, and I mean thousands of them, were convinced that their votes were stolen.
Huh. Okay.
So, and I only know this because I just listened to a special on it where the New York Times went and interviewed a lot of these groups who are volunteering
Got it.
and are concerned about election interference and stuff like that. So I was very, very fascinated by that. But yeah, so my prediction is if Kamala wins, this ain't over for a while.
Okay.
For a while. I think if Trump wins, I think by the 1st we'll know. And it's gonna be a long 4 years of endless news cycles and
Right.
all sorts of stuff.
Right.
I do think some really interesting things would happen if Trump won. I'm not saying all of them are good. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I just think it would be kind of more interesting.
Right.
I think if Kamala wins, the right's not going to be quiet for a long time. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. I think if one way or another, if Trump wins or Kamala wins, the Republican Party has to make a real decision in 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Because if Trump wins, he can't run for re-election.
Which, by the way, end of the day, I'm very much excited about that.
Right.
Because it's been a long 12 years.
It's been a long 12 years. If Kamala wins, then I highly doubt the Republican Party is going to be dumb enough to march Trump out there again. Plus, Trump will be like
81.
Will he be 81?
I believe
in
he's
4
like
years?
he's either 77 or 78 now,
Yeah, I know he's in good health, but he's still
allegedly.
allegedly. But also on top of that, when you're in your upper 70s, early 80s, you can be in good health on Thursday, and Sunday you could be in the hospital about to die.
This is true.
It's just kind of how it goes. So I think one way or another, 4 years is going to look a lot different. I think if Kamala wins, I think Trump is going to blame just everybody and anybody that he can get in front of. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be, I hope that there's not a bunch of tantrum throwing, but I think we've seen evidence of why there would be again.
Oh no, this one's going to be much more fascinating because it will be legal tantrum throwing.
Right, which is almost worse.
Yeah, which they're going to tie it up for a while.
Yeah, I could see that. Which is funny because as long as they tie it up, if we can't certify a new president, that just means Biden's president for longer. So,
Which, you know what?
What are you
and
gonna do?
if that happens, and we talked about 80 octogenarians, you can be in great health on Thursday. Monday morning's a whole new ball game.
well, you remember after that debate, like after he dropped out of the race, everybody thought he died.
Yeah,
It was
right.
like 3 weeks later, and it was like, we haven't seen Joe Biden in 3 weeks. Is he dead? And
Right.
then he showed up and he started making jokes at a rally or something. He put on a MAGA hat, which was just hysterical.
Yeah, well, so back to the whole, if this thing
Yeah.
gets tied up
Yeah.
and Joe passes, Kamala becomes president anyway.
Right.
Don't
exactly.
forget, she is the sitting vice president.
Right.
Which the Trump campaign won't let you forget.
Oh, no.
But I think a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, she is currently the.
Right, right. Well, and if she loses, I'm fascinated to see, because I don't think, just based on like the last 4 to 8 years, I don't think Kamala was ever anybody's favorite.
She was not. I remember when she actually was going after the Democratic nomination.
She
remember
garnered like 4% or something.
Yeah,
It was very
she was
low.
out pretty quick, which is pretty interesting when you think about why she was the VP pick overall. But even still, I think Kamala probably goes away.
I think
right.
so too, and I think Tim Walz does too, because I think Kamala's going to blame Tim Walz for losing.
I don't think so. I think they just all blame the temperature in America.
I could see that.
Right? I really do. I think that's the way it goes. But I see the Republican Party, and I really hope this is true. I think Nikki Haley gets another play.
She might.
Because she lasted, what, the longest
Yeah, she was the
against
last.
Trump for the Republican nomination?
Yeah, she was the last one standing, and she never became a lapdog to him.
That's right.
And that was the thing, because like early on, I was a big fan of Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Smart dude. Like if you listen to him talk and stuff before he became a Trump lapdog, he was really, really smart, had a lot of really good ideas and thought processes. Like I resonated with that dude. I was like, this could be a good candidate. Then, one day he dropped out, he endorsed Trump, and he became Trump's like senior lapdog until Trump got, RFK, and Trump got Elon, and Trump got Tulsi Gabbard.
Oh, can we talk about Elon real quick?
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude. Like, you can't go on X and not feel like clearly the whole platform is now pro-Trump because of the advertisements. Elon is just filling into his own social media platform.
Elon is peppering that in very aggressively. It's funny because there's still, like, I look at Twitter or X or whatever it's called, I look at it like the Wild Wild West.
Oh, it is.
Because you have no idea what you're going to get. Like sometimes I'll go on there. I always love to go on X after a debate or after an interview because you get so much vitriol.
Oh, yeah. And it is awful. It's like the
Yeah.
comment section on any social media
Oh
post.
my gosh, it's so bad. And it's hilarious. And that's the thing that scares me about this election is because the people that are the most vocal aren't even really like paying attention and dissecting what's happening on either side.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all of, the last debate between Trump and Kamala, everybody just immediately went nuts. And their opinions were so divergent from each other that it wasn't even a matter of, oh, well, this is where Kamala had a good answer and this is where Trump had a good rebuttal. It was just like, Trump was incoherent the entire time, or Kamala doesn't know how to communicate. It's like, guys, stop.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I hope, and it's not going to, but I hope there is some relief. I hope that the temperature in America cools a bit.
That is exactly what I'm hoping for too. I really just hope that we can all like sit back, take a breath, think about what's going on, and cooler heads can prevail for the next 4 years. And then in 4 years, when we do this again, we can maybe not be so horrible to each other.
I hope, and I don't care if you're pro-Trump or not, whatever, but I do hope that there's a less inflammatory candidate.
Agreed.
I mean, It's true. I think we saw this when Trump first ran. He kind of incited the more, I don't want to say extreme, because I don't think that's true of most Trump supporters at all. But he did incite more hot-headed people, I guess is what I'll say.
I would agree with that. And I think it wasn't even that he did it on purpose. It was subconscious.
He resonates with that kind of person.
Exactly. It's like when you see a Barack Obama or a George W. Bush
Or a Mitt Romney.
Or somebody like that walk into the room and have a speech, or a John McCain. You know, those people, they go up, even if they are in disagreement with somebody, they hold it together and they show it professionally. You know, I think about, like, in my job, if I approached the people that report to me the way that Trump approaches people when he has interviews, I don't know why anybody would really be that excited to work for me.
That's true.
But there are a lot of people that do identify with that level of communication, that level of directness. And those are the people that are going to do the wrong things. Whereas you're going to have the people, the Barack Obamas, the John McCains, the Mitt Romneys of the world, that you're going to hear them talk and you're going to hear them go through it. And even if they're not happy with the result, they're going to have a tone of peace.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need more of, you know, less riling people up and maybe a little bit more of let's come back to the table and have a conversation.
That's the way it should be.
Agreed.
But, and this is my 2 cents, just about, and this isn't about politics or anything, this is just about what I've kind of seen about Trump in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think, especially after that attempt on his life and he was graced and he stood up and had his fist up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think that was the most genuine personification of his character, period.
Oh, yeah.
Because his basic instinct is to fight.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what is in front of him. So if he's not even really there to make anything great happen per se, he's there to fight, to have conflict. And that's why I think it's going to be incredible no matter how this election ends up. I think we're not done with him yet until he's done with us.
Yeah, I could see that. A highly competitive individual like that, I could definitely see.
That's it.
You know, this is over when I say it's over.
That's
not
right.
Until then.
So, but anyway, final prediction. Just because I like to be fun about this, I think Kamala wins.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think Trump wins.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I don't think it's going to be a landslide.
Oh, no.
And honestly, I think no matter which one of them wins, I think there is going to be grounds for dispute.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think Kamala will have a legitimate reason somewhere in the area to say, are you sure this is totally legitimate? That's not an indictment on her. That's not an indictment on Trump. That's not an indictment on the system. That's an
just
indictment
me.
on our practices.
Yeah, that's just us saying, here's what's been happening. If we've been watching it, that's where I think this goes.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. One thing I'm not gonna predict, but I hope is that we don't have any riots or stupid shit go on.
Yeah, I really
To
hope.
avoid that, I would be very happy.
Yeah.
I'm not real happy about either one of these candidates. I'll be honest with you. I'm typically an independent voter. I don't really like to vote the major parties. I don't feel great about this year. But really, the biggest thing for me is we just need to be peaceful about whatever happens.
Definitely.
As a people.
Definitely.
Don't embarrass yourself. Don't show up to the Capitol in a Viking helmet and think you're making a difference.
I'm a shaman.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Go be a Sherpa somewhere, but come on, you're going to end up in jail.
All right. So don't go to jail, but definitely go vote.
Yes, please do.
Go vote. And that ends our first ever election special.
Erection.
There you go.
All right.
All right, everybody. Don't forget, go vote and keep doing the dad thing.
Cheers.
Cheers, amigos.